Hey, welcome back to the Infamous Podcast. This is Brian.
This is Darryl.
And this is episode 459, Spice, Suspense, and TSA Shenanigans. Shenanigans, Darryl. Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Did you send me the thing where it was all the British actors coming on to correct the guy who did the to be or not to be?
I did not know.
Oh, God. It was like David Tennant, Judi Dench, Ray Fiennes, Ian McKellen, and they were coming out and the guy's like, to be or not to be, that is the question. And they would come out and each one they put a different emphasis on a different word. So it'd be like, it's to be or not to be, or it's like to be or not to be. It was hilarious. I'll have to track it down and send it to you. But like as we were shenanigizing, it just made me think of that.
That's funny.
So, all right. So this week we are talking about the penultimate episode of Dunc Prophecy. We are talking about, finally talking about the movie Trap that came out at the end of the summer. We're talking about the Netflix original movie, Die Hard 2, Carry On. And we're going to talk about Kraven the Hunter. And Darryl, we were going to talk about, let's just talk about it in this section. Red one.
Best Christmas movie since Die Hard.
You are a goddamn liar. And a thief. You stole my time making me watch that.
Okay. I don't know how it did it, but I absolutely, well, no, I won't say I love the movie. I like that movie a lot. A lot. I mean, again, if we were rating it, I would give it a, where did I put, a 7.5. That's how much I like that movie.
I gave it a 5.
So,
and I thought that was being generous.
It's absolutely a movie that I will watch again. I told Jess about it. I'm like, yes. They're definitely, I was watching it actively saying, oh, they could have cut in several $1 million here from this unnecessary CG chase. And also The Rock's idiocy, allegedly. But
what do you mean?
I had a lot of fun with it. It's one of those movies that,
did Dwayne do something to like push it, like being late on
set and all this stuff? Yeah. He caused issues, which is like, dude,
he has issues.
Your movies don't even make that much. Stop it, okay? So just stop.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know how it did it, but I expected it to be in every way a train wreck, and it kind of was, but it was not. It wasn't in the way that I expected not to like it. So it was a train wreck of a movie, but it was a lot of fun.
Does this have anything to do with your man crush on Chris Evans?
No. It reminded me of Hobbs and Shaw in the sense
which I hated as well.
Which that movie shouldn't work, but it does because it doesn't take itself seriously.
Hobbs and Shaw,
this is a movie
or Red One.
Well, both of them. Okay. Neither one takes themselves seriously, and you have to, because Rock is in this movie, he is absolutely the straight man. He's like taking stuff seriously in the sense of his character. Mm-hmm. With all the ridiculousness going around him. So again, if you just want to like Jingle All the Way or Last Action Hero type good time, check out Red One.
Jingle All the Way is like highly underrated.
Yeah, I said that just because I saw it. I think it's on one of the streaming. I happened to see it going through the streaming the other day. And I was like, I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, I think we watched it last. We watched that last Christmas. Or at Jen's brother's house. So anyway, yeah. So that's yeah. I was bored to tears with it. And yeah, it was.
I mean, you gave it a 5. A 5 is not terrible.
I mean, I like the bad guys. Krampus was awesome. Like honestly, if we just got a movie of that version of Krampus.
I don't know why I laughed so hard, but when he smacked the Rock and the Rock was like, he smacked the shit up out of me.
Yeah. Krampus's sleigh was cool. Santa's sleigh was cool.
Yeah.
Actually, J.K. Simon's was a really cool Santa.
Yeah. Those are some big ass reindeer too.
Yeah. And The Rock was having sex with one of them. I mean, that's what they implied.
You mean cow?
Because the one reindeer was like, "Hey, what's up, Rock?" And Rock was like, "Hey, reindeer, what's up, baby?" Anyway, so yeah. All right, let's end this portion of the podcast before it gets too far out of hand, and let's talk about Dunc Prophecy, the penultimate episode. This episode is entitled "In Blood, Truth." This one deals with the alliances and hidden agendas that are coming out. The Emperor Corrino has established a new elite security regiment led by Desmond as the first Sardaukar Bashar. So I thought that was really cool to see.
All right. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. And it's his whole, like, the Emperor's whole covert subservience to Desmond, who keeps manipulating him, which was pretty cool. And then Francesca, who was a former confidant of the Emperor and a Bene Gesserit, returns and is trying to supplant Desmond's manipulations with her own, which was really interesting to see, like, the Emperor getting pulled in both directions. And she positions, and then she positions her son Constantine to be the commander of the Emperor's new fleet. That, he should have given back after Desmond killed that little kid.
You what?
The Emperor should have given the fleet back after Desmond killed the little kid in the first episode. That's the whole reason he got the fleet, was like because his daughter was going to marry that little boy. Anyway, it was really interesting to see everything going on with Tula and Lila and her grandmother, Raquella. Superior Reverend Mother Raquella was amazing to see. And when she just like busts out in the hallway, and she's like, "Tula, we're not done in here." And then the other bird-looking lady was like,
Lila.
Yeah. I just call her Bird Lady.
So I don't know her name. I don't have it on me. But the actress that plays Lila, the way she flipped to Mother Superior, Raquella,
yes,
that is what you call acting right there.
Acting.
Because she seriously had the, I'm going to use my word, the.
You want me to use it? The gravitas
of an experienced elder.
Yes.
Of the sisterhood.
Yeah, you could definitely
despite
tell she
looking
was like a
like
900-year-old woman.
Yes, despite looking like she's a 16-year-old who doesn't even have her license yet. I mean,
She didn't even have her temps yet.
Yeah, that performance right there was. I mean, that was, for me, just like that moment was the best acting performance of the episode. It was just fantastic. I know it's just fantastic. I mean, I don't need to say much about it. It was just fantastic. And the way they brought, because you knew the second she opened her mouth, I was like, oh, that has to be Raquella, right? And just like that confidence she showed was great. And then, like you said, Avila is, she bumps her gums a lot to Tula, and Tula's finally got enough of it. Like, we're on the same page. Now get done what needs to be done.
Yeah.
So
Tula's like, I've had enough.
I do have a question for you, and
yes,
I'm thinking no, but or yes, actually, Francesca is solely Constantine's mother and not Nez, right?
Correct. I believe so.
But they haven't said that, but
there's no there's no real like family trees that have come out yet about who's who yet,
right.
Which I assume we'll see at the end of the series when it's done, because they don't want to spoil anything. Because Desmond is obviously going to be he's going to be the direction. Well, no, he's not going to be the direction of the. Never mind. I take that back. I don't know what's going to happen with Desmond. I hope he lives so we get more of him.
Oh, I know. Like have him go off somewhere. I mean, this Dune universe is massive. So.
Yeah. I mean, Kieran and Michaela in this episode was great. Especially when she revealed her sisterhood knife. And it's like, wait, because he keeps badgering her for being Fremen and like selling spice and, and everything. And it was cool. I wish her eyes were just a little bit more blue. The same with Lila, with her eyes. They needed to be a little more blue.
Oh yeah, they're that very pale blue.
Yeah.
Which, okay.
So, I mean, there's a song about that, about being behind blue eyes.
I was like, really?
Yeah, nobody knows what it's like. Wait, that's not about Dune? Damn it.
But there was absolutely some tension, not just between the whole, we mentioned the Avila and Tula thing, but Michaela, after she gets out and has everything burned down, kind of questioning everything she's done, and then just the kind of like the flippant way that Valia just kind of almost dismissed it in the sense of, oh, your loss is not without, your sacrifice is, was important. It wasn't in vain. But just she has a dismissive way about her that I'm wondering, and again, we only have one episode, but how down the road that would, because again, you're taking a lot of that this person knows what they're talking about, and when you see 3, 4, 5 things in a row or whatever, kind of go off track, it's showing that Valia is not as, the end all be all as she would like everyone to think she is, which I actually think that's even more fascinating because, through trials, that's the thing. Even though, when you believe in something, if it's, even when you're at your lowest and you lose faith in that thing, then you lose the power that you could have, moving forward. And that's what she's trying to really, especially with Desmond Hart and his abilities, and losing the ear of the Emperor.
You mean Desmond Harkonnen?
Yeah.
Harkonnen, if you will. I don't know. I thought this was a great setup episode. It actually like answered some questions. It gave us a few things for the finale to see, and it actually kind of expanded the universe a little bit, like talking about smugglers and what's the one Harkonnen? I forget his name now.
Begins with an
Horus?
H, I think.
Horus.
It might be.
No, it's not. Horus.
The other thing is,
but anyway, with his stuff with dealing with Desmond was really cool because he thought he was manipulating Desmond, and Desmond was like, no.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're not good enough yet to do that. But 2 more things. We also got the mention of how this, what is it, the omnibus or ominous plague that Raquella mentions it was used to buy the machines. It was a pathogen designed by the machines, and then it attacked like the fear center.
Well, no. Before it didn't. It did not attack the fear
this
center.
one
Now
does.
This one does. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. This one does, because it mentions that it was concentrated in Kasha's. I think her name. Yeah, Kasha's amygdala. And again, we're going back to that idea of fear, and why they don't want to tell all the. Yeah, they don't want to tell all the girls at the school, who several of them, as Avila mentions, they want to get out of town. They want to get sent back home.
They want a GTF.
So again, are we going to get that fear is the mind killer thing next episode, or is that just one of those?
It might just
would be hard
wishful thinking on my part.
It would be hard pressed that they mention this multiple times.
I feel like what's going to happen is it's going to end on the litany of fear. Like Tula is going to survive. because she's awesome. And
Yes.
and it's just, Olivia Williams is great, and she's my favorite character. So,
No,
but
I really love her. I love her. Her and Desmond Hart.
yes,
there.
they're like 1 and 1A, and then Kieran Atreides, especially after getting to watch him like do the sword fighting this week.
Yeah.
He's a badass. Very Duncan, I know. Anyway, yeah. So all right. So out of 5, never crossed the bloodlines. What do you give this episode?
4.22. It gets that extra nearly quarter point for that nice little
Yeah. Why don't you talk about the Darth Vader moment
at the end?
Why don't you share that?
Do we want it? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
So we get after Natalya leaves the dinner after Haviko appoints his son as the commander of the fleet, which, dude, that kid has no idea how to command a fleet. None. So she goes to Hart to, again, help him manipulate. They're going to team up, but we get, as and I like when shows do this with the reveals, where they have somebody talking and then in another scene it's spliced together showing what they're talking about, and we get, because of the blood sample that Valia got, Tula puts it in the machine, and it reveals that he's part Atreides and he's part Harkonnen, and there is only one person in this show that had a dalliance with in Atreides years and years ago, who just happens to be a Harkonnen.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it's Sister Tula.
Sister Tula. Yep. Pretty cool. No.
But yeah, I really like how
Desmond,
they did that reveal.
I am your mother.
Oh, so Valia is his aunt.
Mm-hmm. Auntie Valia. So when he meets her next, he needs to look at her and go, "Hey, Auntie."
Oh gosh, no.
And then
hey, Auntie.
Then his hair will just morph into Darth Shitlocks, and it'll be complete. I gave this a solid 4. I thought I really liked this episode. I did not like this episode as much as I liked last week's episode, so I couldn't go higher. But this was a great, slow it down for a second and then at the end start running directly towards the wall kind of an episode, which is how a penultimate episode should be.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about Trap. Okay, so if you haven't seen Trap, it's basically, I guess, M. Night's wife probably got mad at him because he wasn't spending enough time with his daughter. And so she was like, "M. Night, go make a movie with her. Just go. Get her out of the house. All she does is look at her phone. And just go make a movie. Call your buddy Josh Hartnett. He needs to do something. He's not done a ton of stuff lately because he kind of retired and now he's back. And he's awesome. So just get him." And that's how Trap came to be.
I mean, it seems that way.
The singer's his daughter. You can tell because she looks exactly like him.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the poor girl looks exactly like him.
And her acting is about on point with him, too.
Her singing was okay.
Her singing was fine. Yeah, I had no problem with her singing.
It was, yeah. All right. So Trap is a psychological thriller that follows Cooper, a father who takes his teenage daughter to a pop concert of her favorite artist, Lady Raven. Unbeknownst to his daughter, Cooper leads a double life as a serial killer known as the Butcher. Not to be confused with the Butcher of Bay Harbor. Just to keep that in mind.
Or the Butcher of Blaviken.
Yeah, well, yes.
Geralt.
By the way,
for those who don't
Dexter Original Sin premiered on Friday. It's the prequel of all his first kills.
Right.
Oh my God, it was so good. And the kid that's playing Dexter is amazing. Okay, sorry. So the concert becomes a high stakes setting as law enforcement closes in, creating an intense atmosphere where Cooper must navigate his dual identities. I actually liked this. This is by no means a good movie. I just want to just get that out there. It is typical M. Night Shyamalan fare. It's a little better than Old. It's definitely better than Lady in the Lake, but it is it is not his best outing. Would you agree?
It's not his best outing, and it's not his worst outing.
No,
I'll say it.
So let's just real quick. Like it's not as good as Knock at the Cabin. It's better than Old. Mm-hmm. It's better than Glass. Not as good as Split. Glass.
Oh, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I would say that because again, you definitely like this more than I did,
yeah.
And again, I was disappointed
I'm just saying from my perspective. It's better than After Earth. It's better than The Last Airbender.
He did After Earth?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, man.
It's on par with The Happening.
The Happening is his worst.
The Happening
I get physically upset at that movie. The Happening is his worst movie.
The Last Airbender is his worst movie.
Dude,
The Last Airbender is his worst movie, hands down, no argument.
Just the thought of The Happening makes me want to punch a wall.
I love the ideas that the trees get fed up with people and just start making them kill themselves.
That was so stupid.
Anyway, Lady in the Water is worse than that. Signs is great.
I would watch Lady in the Water. Okay. We're not letting you get out away with that. Lady in the Water is so much better than The Happening.
Is it though?
Yes, it is.
It doesn't have Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg, you know what he did?
He's a treasure.
He wrote something on the envelope, folded it up, licked the envelope, closed it, and put it in the mailbox for that movie.
But him and Zoe Deschanel,
and I like Mark Wahlberg.
I can't even finish it. Yes, The Happening is horrible. I'm fucking with you. It is a bad movie. It is not as bad as The Last Airbender, but it's a bad movie.
You know what? I get so mad about that movie is because when it came out, I went to go see it. I was laughing out loud in the theater, literally laughing out loud. It was so bad.
You know,
told my parents about.
You know what I said when I got done watching that movie? The Happening should have happened to that movie.
Yeah, I told my parents over and over again. Like when they asked about it, it's like, this movie is horrible. Don't watch it. What did they do? This was back in the day where they ordered movies on, whatever catalog. I saw it when I went over there and I'm like, you all got this movie? And they're like, yeah, you were right. It was really bad. Like, I told you.
That's funny. All right.
But yeah, this movie is better than
this movie. Here's what I like about this movie. I think he did a really good job holding the tension of the movie until he didn't have to. I liked how heartbreaking it was for Alison Pill, Cooper, who played Cooper's wife, to find out that Cooper was the butcher. I liked how Cooper navigated the concert and that Haley Mills was the psychiatrist, whatever, who was like coaching the FBI.
So
mainly because my daughter is named after Haley Mills. So, there's that. But
so one of the things that, like you said, when we were talking about, and we'll get a little bit more, not more into, but with Carry On, I like the tension of Carry On. I told you that like in the beginning, and then it kind of waned in that third act. This one, it really didn't grab my attention until kind of that second act.
Yeah. When he made the fire happen with the oil, that's when I really got invested in it.
Right, it was around that time. Around that time where it was like, okay, here we go. And then again, when we're talking about M. Night Shyamalan, he's like Stephen King in the sense of his endings aren't always the best.
Oh, he does not stick the landing consistently.
Yeah, and that's a thing that's known with Stephen. I know you don't read Stephen King, but like that's a thing. And again, I haven't read him in a decade or so. But like his older, like just talking about his older works, even some of his famous works, like the ending is not his strong suit.
Right.
And it's the same with M. Night Shyamalan. The same with this. Although I I kind of like the fact that it looks like Cooper's going to get away, but
I mean,
going back to Josh Hartnett, dude plays the psychopath very well.
dude, the
It's kind
pasted
of
on
disturbing.
smile that was on his face the whole time.
Dude,
It's
that
like,
was so disturbing.
I'm like, oh my God. My skin was like crawling. Like, here's the thing.
Yes.
Okay. So this movie kept tension for as long as it had to because, okay, I'm going to spoil some stuff. Lady Raven decides that she's going to like, to get away, he tells the spotter played by M. Night Shyamalan that his daughter Riley has leukemia, is recovered from leukemia. So she gets to go up on stage and dance with Lady Raven. And then every exit is cut off except for Lady Raven's exit. So he basically blackmails her into taking them out. And that's when all the tension goes away in the movie at that point. And it was kind of supposed to. Because I think if it would have been that tense when they got back to Cooper's house and you find out he has a wife and a son, that it would have been too much.
I can see that. I did like that scene though where he tells her, Lady Raven, he's like, "Yeah, I'm the guy you're looking for."
Right?
And I did think from a facial standpoint, that's not necessarily the line delivery.
Yeah.
She does a good job in that scene being like having that, oh shit, what do I do look.
I just shit my pants.
As you would if you were
Yeah.
Yeah, as you would a normal person would facing a literal serial killer. So who evidently chops up their people, their victims.
Yep. So, and the kind of the twist of how he got caught was interesting.
Yeah.
Because Rachel,
I will say,
should we? No, I don't want to spoil it.
No, let's not. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's keep it some of it. But
Yeah. All right. So
again,
oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we're going with the ratings now.
Yeah. We can say what you were going to say though.
Yeah, well, it's gonna tie into my rating,
Oh, okay.
so I can say the rating first.
Darryl, out of 10, sometimes you just have to make a movie starring your daughter. What do you give it?
I give it 5.25 out of 10. This is a movie that, if you're just one weeknight looking for something to watch, I mean, it's not one of those where it's like I wasted my time watching. Even if I won't watch this again unless somebody I'll put it this way. If somebody wanted to watch it, I would watch it again.
Yeah.
But like I'm never going to watch it again by myself. That doesn't mean that, for that hour and 40 minutes or whatever it was, 45 minutes. It was solidly entertaining. It wasn't good, but it had moments of good moments, and I thought Josh Hartnett did a very good job playing a creepy psychopath.
Yeah, it's 105 minutes long. So okay. I gave it a 6.2 out of 10. This is a movie, if you want to watch something kind of tense, like thriller movie that doesn't have a lot of gore, doesn't have a bunch of jump scares, and you can have it on in the background while you're like working on something or whatever, it's perfect for that.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, but I did enjoy it. I did, and I do like Midnight, mostly. What?
Midnight.
Did you ever watch Scrubs?
No.
Oh, the janitor, not the janitor. The character's name is Janitor. He talked about how he was friends with M. Night Shyamalan. He calls him Midnight. He was like, I said Midnight. So I've ever since then I've called him Midnight. But yeah, it's all good. All right, let's move on to our next review. Carry On. Carry On is a Netflix original movie. It is starring Jason Bateman, who, if I hadn't cut my hair, he and I would have had the same haircut.
Seriously?
Like recently. I'm working on getting the mullet back. So anyway, so it's basically, it's a movie where the TSA are the good guys. And I feel like this movie, a lot of this was predictive programming, for us to be nice to TSA people when we're traveling over the holidays. Because we're like, there's TSA agents. They're not just assholes. They work hard. When in reality, they are New York City doormen who have a modicum of power. So I tell you what happened the one time they patted me down.
Yeah.
So they were patting me down, and the guy got up by my thigh, and I went, "Oh."
No, you didn't.
Oh, dude, seriously? His hands came off of me so fast. And you know what happened when I was coming back? My bag got pulled and searched randomly. So,
randomly?
Yeah, randomly. So. Anyway, it was funny. Yeah, so this is
That's hilarious.
I don't even know. Is it Jaume Colette Serra? Is that how you say his name?
I have no idea. I've never heard of this person. So.
He directed House of Wax and Orphan and The Shallows.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so not a bad director. This is not a bad movie. This one is not a bad movie. It's just like my suspension for disbelief flew out the window when what was his buddy's name? Jason, when his buddy Jason was making everybody laugh before they got in line to start traveling. It's like, no, there's no TSA agent in the world that does that. I know it's an American job, but there's no TSA agent in the world that is like that. They're angry, they're bitter, they're mean, they are, so. And you should be nice to them. You absolutely should be nice to them. They
definitely couldn't work it.
Right.
Couldn't work at Chick-fil-A.
No, my pleasure never comes out of their mouth. Anyway, so Taron Egerton is in this. Jason Bateman, Sophia Carson plays Nora, which I guess she's like a Disney Channel person, right?
Yes. She's in the I kept saying I've seen her before, and it's been in those Descendant movie, when you've seen those, or when those promos of the Descendant movie.
That's what she was in. Okay. And then you've got Danielle Deadweiler, who had a pretty decent car fight scene in this. Theo Rossi
Logan
is
Marshall
in this.
Green.
Logan Marshall Green is in this, and then Dean Norris was in this. So,
yeah, I will say that the car fight was so ridiculous.
It was shot so good, though.
It was so. I mean, obviously, there's no way to make it other than that way. But, and again, it might be because it was a Netflix budget, or I don't know. But that for a minute, that took me out of the movie just because it looks so ridiculous, based on everything else that was going on from a visual standpoint. Not necessarily that there was a car fight. It was just the visuals of it just took me out of the movie. But overall, again, this is for me. We talk about where you're talking about holding the tension, and for me, this held the tension pretty well.
Yeah.
And like you said, it didn't, and that's where I took some points away towards the end of that third act, which this is not just these two movies that have issues. A lot of movies have issues with
thrillers in general have issues trying to
thrillers in general. Yeah. Yes, because like you said when we were talking about Trap. If you hold too much, it becomes to be too much. You have to let go of it at some point. But if you let go of it too much, it unwinds some of the goodwill you had to start. So it did that last act for me. There were a couple of cool things in it. Don't get me wrong, especially as you mentioned, where that the confrontation on the plane between Ethan and what was his name, the Traveler, Jason Bateman's character. Yeah. But I think, I don't know if it was a critic or I saw some blurb where they compared it to a combination of Phone Booth, and there's another movie they mentioned, which I'm pretty sure I saw Phone Booth. because that was Colin
Phone
Farrell.
Booth was Colin Farrell. That one's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was I don't know. I mean, yes, it held its tension while it had to. And it kind of lost that a little bit before. I think it kind of lost it when they got on the plane, to be honest.
Yes, absolutely.
It was just kind of like, okay, what's gonna this? Okay, this is dumb now. Kind of like,
yes,
yeah.
that's because I had again and again, I liked it more than you did. I would have liked it more if they would have been able, and you probably would have liked it more too if they were able to keep some tension and some believability in
or
that,
if he
like
would
from
have
that scene
pulled
on.
the let the plane take off and like pull the the tarp off of the kayak and it's really a plane, like John Cena in Fast X. Like, it would have been just ridiculous at that point. And it turns out he's a spy. It was that. That was when it got to the plane and, he struggled hitting the button the first time to reset the clock. And like the second time, like, I don't know. It was just, yeah. And then, I don't know. I just,
to me, it would have been better if it would have been a little bit more.
There were gunshots at the airport and not with like any kind of suppressor or anything. In a giant room that it's going to echo for days. Like, the Traveler shot that shot and it's still echoing to this day, kind of room. And
so that last part of the movie,
yeah,
it would have been a lot better if they would have stayed grounded
in the airport. Yes. So, I will say Jason Bateman as a bad guy like that was like, this is what happens if Michael Bluth breaks bad and like finally has enough of the Bluth family. It really
it's
does. like George Michael came home like late from curfew and made some shitty teenager comment to him. He's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just a bad guy now. This is who the Traveler is. And I'm here for it. I mean, obviously like there's that. But Taron Egerton's character, I want to be a cop, but I'm lazy as fuck. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, this was the opposite of a dare to be great situation. This was you know what? You are just falling, just constantly failing upward. He's a Disney exec in this movie. He just fails up throughout the entire movie. And then he gets to be a cop at the end.
It's 1 year later.
1 year later. But yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so out of 10, someone really wants to be Die Hard 2. What do you give this?
For me, it's a 6.55. That first 2/3 of the movie, I really enjoyed, especially like once they got to the airport and everything that happens, and then like you said, it fell off a little bit at the end in that third act. That's what took some points away from me because I was again, it was kind of like to me. A more serious, like Red One. I expected this to be little entertaining, but forgettable. It was a lot entertaining, and it's one of those movies that a year from now I'll watch again.
I mean, it's a Christmas movie.
Just on itself. Yeah,
it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it takes place on Christmas Eve.
Yes, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon.
That's why I wanted to be Die Hard too. I gave it a 5.5. This movie's fine. Like, I would watch it again. Again, this is another one. Like, it's a decent background movie if you're doing something.
Yeah, it is.
I like Taron Egerton. I love Jason Bateman. He's one of my favorites. I wish it would have been a heist instead of like a terrorist attack.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's a little too on the nose. I did kind of like the whole like VX gas, like on steroids. It reminded me of The Rock a little bit. Welcome to The Rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. This movie is non-offensive. This movie is it's just safe. It's safe throughout. It takes zero chances.
I'm sorry, I just saw your Kraven the Hunter out of.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that one in a second. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it was just safe. It was fine. You know, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Again, neither one of these movies do anything like shocking or special or anything like that.
No.
But again, I think too many people are looking for the wow factor. And I'm not saying these movies are, are the template for doing a very good derivative movie.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's all about execution. And I think both of these movies in their own way, even though, I have different ratings for them, we both do. They both did something good with derivative material and solid for at least part of the time. So like you said, Brian, both of these movies are very good. You don't have to necessarily be glued to the TV.
Right.
You can be doing something in the background while it's on, looking up here and there, doing some crocheting or whatever you want to do.
Watch these movies. You're going to watch these movies and you're going to hear something loud happen and you're going to hit the little back button twice on your remote to back it up 30 seconds and see what the loud thing was.
Yes, this is correct.
I mean, that's just how you're going to watch it. I mean, it's yeah. So, hey, real quick, just breaking news. Michael Penix Jr. got named the starting quarterback for the Falcons.
Nice. I saw something like that questioning was Kirk Cousins going to be benched.
Yeah, well, remember at the beginning of the season, they're like, why would they draft him? They just signed Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins is 40. That's why.
Well, that's the thing. Why in the hell would you sign a guy who just coming off of an Achilles injury that old?
Hey, look,
like, really?
I'm 47. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm just saying, any team that wants to draft me, I can throw the ball in the air for about 30 yards. I don't see so well. I'm kind of slow now. Anyway, all right. Let's close this out. Let's talk about Kraven the Hunter. I'm just gonna get out of the way since you brought it up. So, out of 10, why did Rhino have ears? What do you give it?
I'm at a 5.77.
Are you laughing?
Because I can't get that picture out of my head.
So, I give it a 6.43. Here's the thing. If Spider-Man's in this movie's awesome.
Oh, man.
If you put Spider-Man in here, even for a cameo of Spider-Man, or Kraven finds out that, Spider-Man exists at some point in the movie, this movie is awesome. So I will say, before we review this, Kraven was taken out of 1,200 theaters 800 theaters. No, it was 1,200. 1,200 theaters before it even launched, before it even released. It ended up being in a little less than 800 theaters. A little over 800 theaters less than Madam Web. So all these people are like, oh, it's underperforming to Madam Web. It's doing worse than Madam Web. Well, sure, it was going to do that probably anyway, but it's doing even worse because it's in less theaters. This is the last. There was no end credit scene. There was no, we're going to continue this bullshit. This was the end of the Spider-Man list Spider-Man movies from Sony. Venom 3 underperformed overall compared to what the first two did. Madam Web shit the bed. Morbius shit the bed. This one has now shit the bed. I will say, I'm a huge Aaron Taylor Johnson fan. I thought he was great as Kraven. But you can't roll this into the MCU because everyone's going to look at it and be like, hey, wait, why aren't you running fast? I thought you got perforated by human hole punchers from the Ultron robots.
I mean, Alfred Woodard played different characters. Robert Downey Jr. is going to play different characters.
He's going to be the Tony Stark version of Dune. I guarantee it.
That's not Dune.
This is our second movie in the last few weeks with Fred Hinchinger? Is that how you say his name?
Who?
Dimitri. He was the other.
Oh,
He was
who was
he was one of the emperors in Gladiator 2. He was the one that had the
oh,
monkey.
that's. Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, Russell Crowe definitely licked an envelope and sent it in for this one.
Oh yeah, but he did have a Russian accent.
I mean, at least he did that. But and then what's his name? Crap. I clicked away from it. Christopher Abbott was interesting. I wanted more of him as foreigner.
So this is the thing with, and I thought his character was fine. The character was unnecessary and should have been taken out to focus more on Kraven.
Yes.
And to build more with the whole Rhino thing, because the Rhino / Justin Hammer, because that's what that came across as to me. I couldn't help, or not Justin Hammer, I'm sorry. The Guy Pearce's character from Iron Man 3.
You want to be my
That's
partner.
who that reminds.
Yeah. Will you partner with me? No. I want to partner with the both of you. No. Yeah, it was like I was standing at the top of the building and I took my rhino juice out.
And look, I understand this was a origin story.
Before you get to that, the whole time I'm like, why is he walking around with the gay little backpack on? Because he had a little.
It was the Argyle backpack.
It was well, yeah, but like the Argyle backpack was a woman wearing that backpack.
I know. I was expecting was he going to have a little baby rhino?
I thought it was going to be like the Flash, hilarious. Like the Flash's ring. It was just going to be the rhino suit would pop out and he'd jump in it. Yeah. So
look,
yeah, that guy.
I know this was a.
What was his
he
name?
was a.
Alexei. Oh, that's what he was. Yeah. I was trying to figure out what I knew him from, and I never bothered to look because I didn't care.
You're not important enough to remember.
I don't even know who you are. But
look, I understand this was an origin story, so you have to tell some of the origin. But the way this movie started, and then throw the origin in like that 20-minute block, for me, just completely stalled the momentum that the jailbreak scene and action gave us. And and those 20 minutes could have been pared down to 5 and interspersed throughout the movie with him thinking back on things. And that way, because I wanted to know more I wanted to see more about him. And again, you're having this character, the Rhino as the secondary antagonist. His father was basically the main antagonist.
Yes.
But having more about the Rhino, and like you said, the foreigner character, I actually liked the character.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the character in this movie because, one, the foreigner would have been a great, foil, and if you would have focused on him. Again, because this is one of those things where if you have 2, 2 is better than 3 in this situation. So you had the Rhino and you had his father, that would have been fine. Or if you had his father and you had the foreigner, that would have been fine. And either way, you couldn't have both the foreigner and Rhino because it takes away from both of them what you could have done with the movie. And this is something that happens with a lot of this. If you're talking about, I won't even say the Sony movies, but we've seen comic movies do this a lot with where you want to put these characters in and you shortchange not only that character but other characters, and that's what it did, having both the foreigner and the Rhino in there.
I mean, you had 3 Spider-Man villains in here, and I know Kraven was like, supposed to be some kind of anti-hero type thing with this, but yeah, it was.
You know what though? I will say, skipping to the end, I really liked what his brother says to him. He's like, "You're no different than our father."
Yeah.
It's like, just because you think you're playing for a righteous cause, I mean, pretty much most people, there with exceptions, Cooper knew he was a psychopath probably,
right?
And from Trap, but most people like that they think they're the good guys.
Yeah.
So I actually like that, and then I got to say I love that ending, like that ending shot.
Oh yeah, with him
him.
in the chair with the lion on and everything, and like that was
yes.
cool. The only thing that was missing there was like Calypso being in the scene with him.
Yeah.
And I know you and Haley were like, we wanted less Calypso. We actually needed more Calypso.
Not. Well, you know what? Talking about that from a standpoint of her character and what she would bring, because I was talking more about the actress, which was weird because I saw her in Argyle and she was fine.
Yeah.
So I think, again, it might have just been a bad whatever, but from a character standpoint, from a development standpoint, I agree. Having her in here more and having her interact more with Kraven, that adds something to both of them. And again, that you couldn't do that with having this extra villain in here.
Well,
so
and making her like the lawyer and everything was like interesting. You know, I don't know. I mean, because like, here's the thing. We remember Kraven, like, I remember Kraven from the comics, right? Kraven's Last Hunt. But we remember Kraven and Calypso most from the 1990 Spider-Man cartoon. That was like, that is Kraven's apex mountain at this point. And Calypso was a huge part of all of those story arcs with him in there.
Right.
And like, you know, like I like how she gave him the powers and everything like that. And like, you know, that was cool. That was really cool. And like you said, that should have been interspersed throughout with like when he first got picked up on the airplane, I thought that was going to be Calypso in the plane. Flying the plane.
I did too, actually.
And then it wasn't. And I was like, oh, I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah. That threw me for a loop because I was like, oh, she's going to be this. And it's like, I guess not.
Yeah.
Question mark?
She might be this, I guess.
So
yeah.
Again, even though I gave it a 5.77, this is a movie that was entertaining for me. It was a whole lot better than I expected. I thought this was going to be a tire fire of a movie. I will absolutely watch this movie again. I probably will fast forward between that, you know, the origin story.
I mean,
aspect.
I'll definitely like fast forward to the lion eating him, and then you know, because that was cool.
Oh man, that lion was pretty cool. Yes.
But, I will say,
but I will absolutely
we haven't really talked much about Dimitri with this. So he's Kraven's half brother. And I like this Wikipedia is like, who's a master of disguise. No, his voice is a chameleon. Like that's like, he's not disguising himself as anybody. But it was kind of cool. And I kind of wish they would have got the guy from, the Zack Snyder zombie movie, the Safecracker guy to play the adult Dimitri. Cause he kind of had that hair. And it's like, oh, because that guy's so good. But I mean, Fred Hershinger did really good. And then to like just kind of, I'm going to spoil this, but to find out at the end that he's chameleon was really cool. And then when it flashed to like Chameleon's actual face, you know,
that was
cool. And then like, you know, the face kind of melted through. But yeah, he actually is the half brother of Kraven. I guess I never knew that.
Okay.
So, but
yeah, again, this is a movie that, like Morbius, it's not. Oh my gosh, Morbius would have been so much better if it was rated R. Like
Morbius looked so good though. Like the Morbius makeup looked so good. Yes. Morbius should have been rated R. This was rated R, and I didn't feel like, you know, I think it was rated R because they said fuck a couple times.
Well, there wasn't quite as there was some
gore.
Good violence.
Yeah, but
there was a good amount of gore. I mean, like even more so than any.
Maybe I'm just desensitized
I don't think with
to
gore,
it at this point.
Yeah, I don't think with some of the gore, like I mean, hitting the guy in the face with the freaking bear trap, which was badass, biting the guy's nose off. Like there was some serious and blood spurting and spattering. So
yeah, I guess I don't know.
It could have. I guess I don't want it to be like them. Oh, it wasn't Deadpool gore
Yeah.
at all,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's some pretty gnarly stuff that happened in there.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But
I mean, you are right.
yeah,
But like, I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was enough like rated R. Maybe because we saw like a bunch of animals getting killed and like all their horns were cut off. But
yeah, well, that could have been it too. But yeah, this is one of those that I mean, I'm likely gonna get this honestly when if it's under $10.
I'm not gonna lie.
Just
I
because
have all the Venom movies. I got Morbius
that's the
free
thing, yeah.
because I went to see like 3 movies at the Regal, and I got like a bunch of movies. They, you know, when they used to do that thing where it's like, oh yeah, we'll send you the digital code. If you see all these movies, we'll send you the digital codes for all of them. And it was just
Yeah.
one of the times that I actually went and saw the 3, because usually it was like, oh, I'm not going to see one of those. So,
Yeah. So,
but yeah.
I mean, again, like every rating, because there are movies that I'll rate higher than this that I won't watch again.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a movie that's,
Oppenheimer.
you know,
Oppenheimer is a good example. of that.
Oppenheimer's the perfect example. I think we both had it as our best movie of last year.
It was the best movie I saw last
Like,
year, but it
the
was
best-
not my favorite.
Not our favorite movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, not our, there's a difference, yeah. But technically speaking, acting, all that, it was the best movie, but it's one of those movies maybe 5-10 years from now I'll watch again, maybe.
Yeah. I know. I'm kind of going through my list, and like I think I was premature in saying that Gladiator was my favorite movie of the year, but like I'm kind of looking through everything, and like, I mean, like I don't think my top 5, like I think we're gonna do 10, right? Like,
Yes.
I have so many like 6.75 movies on
Yes.
here.
Yes.
It's like,
Yes,
oh, wow.
yes, I do.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm just
they're
gonna
not
go.
all the
I'm actually
same,
gonna
though.
go with the movies I enjoyed the most. So like Fall Guy,
That's-
right? I've watched
Out
Fall
of my
Guy like
head.
7 times. So,
That was I'm not going to even say it. Never mind.
what?
Because I was thinking the same thing in the sense of I'm looking over this list and I'm looking at the scores and I'm like, well, this scored less, but I actually enjoyed this more.
Yeah.
So there's definitely going to be that where
Yeah.
it's, and we'll absolutely have some of the same movies on there.
Maybe, I don't know.
We will.
I'm just looking at these ones that I've watched. I'm looking at the ones that I've watched like multiple times, right? And it's like, okay. Like Roadhouse is definitely gonna be on my list.
Gosh, I know. Good group. I just happen to look on my list and I see Roadhouse and it's like, yeah, geez.
Like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Furiosa, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yep. Deadpool and Wolverine for me.
Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine definitely. Abigail
Killer.
might be on there. Wait,
The
which
Killer.
The Killer?
The Killer, not The Killer's Game.
Oh,
I'm
God,
kidding.
The Killer. Ugh. Well, no, wait. When was the one with what's his name, Michael? With Magneto. That was last year.
Yeah. No, this is the one that was on Peacock.
Yeah.
Cock.
That was Peacock. Yeah, that was awful. Anyway, all right. Well, we're just descending into madness at
talking
this
now,
point.
though.
So, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know what you think about any of these movies that we've talked about today. Make sure to check out the finale of Dunc Prophecy. Check out Dexter Original Sin. Maybe Darryl will watch it. We can talk about the first 2 episodes next week. Check out Landman. I don't know how many episodes are going to be in this season, but like the first 4 were all really good. That's also on Paramount Plus, right? It's not Paramount Prime, is it? Paramount Plus.
I think it's Paramount Plus. Yeah.
And then I guess season 3 of Invincible is coming out in February. And
Yes, I
it's
just saw the
gonna
trailer.
no breaks.
Oh, nice.
And then I guess later this week is the James Gunn super person movie. So
Thursday, yes.
yeah, so I don't know. The little teaser that happened where they had the kind of similar font to the Richard Donner Man of Steel stuff, it looked like worse CG than the CW shows.
Anyway.
It did.
No,
Am I wrong?
I'm just saying, like, just the idea of,
Yeah.
like, we're losing out. So that's what I'm talking about, not
Yeah.
what you're saying.
We're losing Superman and Lois, Soups and Lolo if you're nasty, for this shit. And like reading the comments on James Gunn's post about the little teaser, and it's like, this is gonna be the best, thank you, James Gunn. It's like, you guys are in for a rude awakening, because Superman is the bad guy in his own movie. Just wait. Because of the way people like James Gunn look at the term power dynamics.
Yes. I wouldn't be surprised.
So anyway,
he's going to learn something from someone. So anyway.
Oh yeah, there's going to be life lessons from Lois Lane. So that's going to be actually going to be Lois's like talk show from the Daily Planet YouTube channel. She's going to be like, "Hi, this is Life Lessons with Lois Lane." So anyway, all right. On that note, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
See ya.
The Infamous Podcast is recorded in Kings Mills, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati. You can find new episodes every Sunday on Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, our website, or anywhere podcasts are downloaded. This show is hosted by Darryl Jasper and me, Brian Tudor. To find more information about the show, visit us at infamouspodcast.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Infamous Podcast to keep up with the show. We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/infamouspodcast. We have some great rewards for our patrons and are looking for help to grow the show to bring you more of the content you want to hear. Music for this podcast is provided by Michael Henry from meetmichaelhenry.com. So, whenever you're listening to us, have a great day, night, evening, weekend, whenever it is, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.